Hello everyone, back with another YouTube video. I have a Chaos Turbo mirror with R3v. This is going to be 2 matches. Let's just get right into the match. He wins rock, paper, scissors. So he opens duo, and it's nice that I have serpent. And he selects serpent, so I get to just choose which card I want to discard. Obviously not discarding BLS. Don't want to discard Thunder Dragon. It's going to be between Sangan and Sorcerer. Putting one of these in graveyard allows me to summon BLS turn 1, which can be pretty devastating. So if you discard Sorcerer, the plan would just be take back Serpent, summon BLS, well, use Thunder Dragon, summon BLS, set Sangan. So then you have a nice BLS Sangan play, though that does kind of just get destroyed by Snatch. The other option is just discarding Sangan, and then I would still be summoning BLS, most likely, unless he happens to summon Sangan or something, in which case I would summon Sorcerer. But, let me think here. Basically, if I pitch Sangan, I'm gonna have to discard I'm gonna have to find a dark monster at some point to make the Sorcerer live. All this being said, I think Sangan is probably the best choice to discard. Just because I do still have like an option to not summon BLS, I could just go Sorcerer. So he sets monster in a back row, take back Serpent. Yeah, so nothing's changed here. The plan is going to be to summon BLS. I know there's 2 Thunder Dragons in the hand, so 2 less potential cards that can be used to destroy BLS. Yeah. And just throw Serpent down. It does get kind of destroyed by Snatch, but remember he has 2 less cards that could be Snatch, so can't really do anything about Snatch in this spot. He goes knock on Serp, sets a back row. This spot is interesting. I think most people would just autopilot attack with BLS. However, so first off, you know he doesn't have Snatch, because he would probably have just used Snatch on BLS to banish Serpent instead of using Knock. So right now I'm thinking Snatch can only come off the top of the deck. So the reason I don't want to attack here with BLS is because if he has Mirror Force, it gets destroyed, and he gets to then proceed to setting his monsters. So instead, I'm just going to set Spy. Kind of using this as like a floodgate so he can't put monsters on field, assuming that he has Mirror Force. So this is the thought process behind just doing nothing. Now here, you might think, again, BLS just to attack mode attack instead of flipping Spy, because Spy plays into Torrential. However, you can't just like always play around torrential. In this spot, flipping spy and attacking with both spies is so much better. So I don't think it's worth playing around torrential here, because I'm forcing him to out BLS in some way before he can put any monsters on field. And I do have to pressure on this turn. I can't just continue walling. So if he doesn't have torrential, this is great. And just attack the spies, and there was Mirror Force. So when I see that, I'm already like fist pumping at the way I played this. What to do main phase 2. So Chaos Sorcerer is now going to be live with the spies engraved. I'm obviously going to set ring. Actually, it's not obvious. I could do like nothing. That's completely fine to do nothing. But I do just go for Faith with ring. And the reason I do this is because it's pretty much impossible for him to like summon something and attack into Faith, right? So it's pretty safe to just throw it on board. That also opens up some game shots next turn, potentially. Like I can tribute this Faith for Thunder Dragon, hit for 46 next turn with Mirror Force gone, and then ring his game. Though I could do the same thing with Sorcerer. But this gives me like another monster I could use. And obviously any spell I draw is pretty crazy. So he goes for a Geki Break, which targets the set Faith. Completely fine with that. Of course, he discards Chaos Sorcerer, so he's implying that he has another Chaos monster that's going to be banishing my BLS. It's his own BLS. Okay, sets a back row. I could go for the end phase ring, but there's no point of doing that because I would rather try and get the +1 on Sorcerer, and then if that doesn't work, then have ring for BLS after that. I draw, knock. Unfortunately, he has Dust Shoot, which is a bit annoying. But okay. I have a choice here. I could ring on my turn to prevent any possible Book of Moon top deck. However, what's his hand? He still has 2 Thunder Dragons, right? So first off, I'm not very scared of Book of Moon. I'm not that scared of a Book of Moon top deck. I'm more scared of me using ring right now, and then he gets to draw a monster and summon it. He knows my hand. I have knock, so he could even summon Dekoichi. My ring is unknown at this moment, so on his turn he will do one of 2 things. He will put BLS to attack mode and attack, or he'll do the same thing I was doing earlier, which is just keep BLS there to potentially play around a set Mirror Force. So all these reasons are why I decide not to use ring on this turn, risking any possible Book of Moon. And look at this, he does decide to keep the BLS in defense mode. Some So when he does this, I'm a little scared that the back row could be a solemn. So at this point, I want to just go for end phase ring on BLS and just get rid of it. Not taking any chances. I draw upstart, use upstart, and I draw back into Chaos Sorcerer. I could summon it. However, what are really the benefits of this? I don't even have a 2-turn clock. He has 5,000 now. So it would take 3 attacks from Sorcerer to end the game. So at this point, I'm cool just sitting back and playing more of a control with this hand. I don't really just want to summon and slam into Torrential either. So pass looks good to me. Also, one thing I didn't mention, remember he knows I have Knock in my hand. So if he draws like Dekoichi, he's probably going to want to summon that. And that's going to play right into the Chaos Sorcerer. That's a cool little interaction. Unfortunately, he finds Charity, which is his best draw. Discards the 2 Thunder Dragons, and then summons the Dekoichi. Because again, he's playing around my knock. I draw a second Chaos Sorcerer. So now if his back row is Solemn Judgment, I will have another follow-up Sorcerer. So play here is pretty obvious. He won't have a dark if I banish this deco, so that's very nice. So even though Mirror Force is gone, I'm still going to just banish the deco. And there is an option to maybe tribute this for Thunder Dragon, inflict 1600 to get him to 34, and then potentially next turn I can drop the other Thunder Dragon and then summon Chaos Sorcerer for the win. I think that's a bit too... I think that's a bit optimistic. This does like play into Snatch though if I just leave them here, but I do have a follow-up. If he does Snatch, I just discard Thunder Dragon, summon the other Sorcerer. So I'm cool just passing here. It's close though. It's definitely an option to tribute for Thunder Dragon. So he goes Tribe, pitch card D, and I lose Sorcerer. Draw into a dead Dust Shoot. Only one play here is just discard Thunder Dragon, summon Sorcerer. And there is again an option to attack here, but I don't want to risk a potential second Regeki break, a ring. So just gonna banish again. And there is an option to Thunder Dragon, but I feel that it's not really a winning line if I tribute for Thunder Dragon, so I won't. I believe I should set Dust Shoot as a little bluff. I don't have Mirror Force or Torrential, so, or anything really. So this back row can easily be respected as Regeki Break, Solemn, anything. All my good stuff. He goes for Set Monster and a back row. And I draw Regeki Break. My play here is pretty obvious. It's just going to be Nobleman, put Sorcerer to attack mode, and attack for 23. and then set Regeki break. So interestingly, he had snatched this whole time. Also interestingly, he respected this bluff does shoot last turn. So that's cool to see that this bluffing this does shoot mattered. And it gave me an extra turn to find the actual snatch answer with the Regeki break. He sets a monster. I draw a spy, and I don't have any spies in deck. So I have an option to summon it, of course. But I start thinking about what the set can actually be. Let's see, he has one Dekoichi gone, one Faith gone. So it obviously could be another Faith, and that would be the worst case scenario because he has good cards like Snatch, Charity. It can also be Spy, and it can be Night Assailant, it can be Sangan. So there's a lot of stuff that aren't Faith. But the question is whether I summon Spy or just swing with Sorcerer. It's really a tough spot. Because if I summon Spy, I kind of have to attack with Spy so that I can banish Spy. No, that seems kind of bad. But if I attack with Sorcerer, then attack with Spy, that only does 1200. Yeah. I decided eventually to just attack with Sorcerer because it's safer, and then I'm gonna probably set Spy main phase 2. It's Night Assailant, so I could have gotten in 1200 potentially there. He passes. This turn, let's see what his chaos situation is. BLS gone, that's very important. So he has one Chaos Sorcerer left. I definitely do not have to flip this Spy, but I also don't really see that many reasons not to. There is a few things that can run it over. There's another Dekoichi, but that would have been set. There is Breaker, but that definitely would have been summoned. So what is the card that he's holding? I'm not sure. It could be a does shoot. It could be a lot of things, obviously. I do like just flipping this, attacking for 12, and then setting Dekoichi, because that it kind of forces him to do something, or he'll lose. So he finds Breaker. I assume that came off the top because previous turn he almost certainly would have used it. Okay, I find Upstart. Leading with Dekoichi here is going to be better than Upstart because I don't want to commit to giving him 1,000 life points when he only has 1,500. So I find Tribe here. So I could summon Tribe, pitch the Upstart, and that's 3,000 game. However, I can afford using the Upstart, getting him to 2,500, because that would still be game with tribe and Dekoichi. And that's what I'm gonna do. There's a lot of draws I can get that would help, like let's see, Knight Assailant. Knight Assailant would be a good one. Obviously, yeah, there's plenty. Like this one, Pot of Greed. Use the Pot of Greed, which finds TT Charity. Use the Charity. Discards here seem obvious. It's just TT Jar Greed. And then just go for game with Snatch. Playing around Torrential. And he does have Torrential. So it's actually possible he held Breaker last turn. The previous turn with Torrential set. And the hand was Breaker. And that was actually pretty unfortunate for him that I drew pot off of the upstart. So game 2, he goes for set monster, set back row, and flips Dust Shoot, which sends away Faith. So there's a situation here now. So keep in mind, he allowed me to keep tribe. Is it possible his set is still spy after that happens? Very unlikely, I would say. And so what cards would I want to hit with mind control? They would be Dekoichi and Spy, right? So if I already don't think it's Spy, which would be like the really optimal one, because then I could souk that Spy and get value that way, I'm leaning towards not using mind control. So if I'm not using mind control, what is my play? I could go for set Tsukiyomi. That's definitely an option. But I think just summoning tribe and attacking is probably the best play. It seems kind of weird, but post side, this kind of play has a bit more value than it does game 1. So hit into Sengen, which finds Tsukiyomi. And now I have to think in main phase 2 on what I want to do. I could just pass turn, leaving my Heavy Storm still without my Solemn set. Or I could set Solemn and commit to Solemning Souk, which would make me lose if he finds Thunder Dragon and has BLS. But there's not really much else I could do in the situation. So I obviously have to just take some chances. And I think having tribe on board gives me a very good situation, because aggression plus having Minecon in hand is very good in the Turbo Mirror. So he just drops Tsukiyomi. I would assume that he probably plays Heavy or MST before this, if he had them, so probably doesn't have those. Unsure on whether he chooses Souk or Breaker. You could go either or in that situation. But yeah, I'm gonna Solemn. I set this with the intention of Solemning. I would not have set Solemn if I wasn't intending to Solemn the Souk. I draw into Zambira. Nothing really to do here. I don't want to Heavy plus Souk. I think that's a bit of a waste, because like I could Heavy, he Chains Ring, or Jar Greed. maybe a Ryeki break. So I don't think that's very good. And I think summoning Sook into possible TT or Mirror Force, I think it's a bit too greedy, is the word. So I think just swinging for 16 is good. Main phase 2, I have a decision. There's like maybe 4 decisions. I could do nothing, right? I could just pass turn, leave this as my hand. That's a completely fine play. I could set Tsukiyomi. I did draw a card for turn, so I could potentially represent that I drew a flip and make him waste something like a Minecon. I could also set Zambira for those same reasons. However, both of those plays have one big problem, and that is Snatch. He would be able to just snatch the tribe and attack the set, and he would have very good reason to do this because I could have drawn a spy for turn. So that potential play makes me not want to go for set Sook or set Zambira. I'm not going to summon Zambira. That's definitely not a thing. And so what's the only play remaining? I could potentially summon Sook to set tribe, and that would potentially bait a Dekoichi or spy to run over tribe, and then I have heavy plus Zambira, and then Sook on Zambira to continue pressuring after that. Or I could just do nothing. I decide to go for the Sook play, which could very easily be wrong. But it does, if he has BLS in hand and he draws Thunder Dragon, I just lose. Also, if he has Chaos Sorcerer in hand and draws Thunder Dragon, having set tribe would be better. There's also some combinations of like Snatch plus some other thing that kills me. So I decide to Sook, and if he has TT, he has TT. So this is what happens. That's going to happen very often. I obviously planned for a situation like this. I find BLS. I don't have light or dark yet. So question here is whether to go Zambira attack or use Heavy Storm beforehand. And I feel if I Zambira and attack into ring, I just lose, right? I can't really win after that. So I feel I have to Heavy Storm in that situation. A situation that would allow me not to Heavy Storm would be, let's see, I could potentially set Tsukiyomi, or I could go Minecon, Tsukiyomi, grab a spy, hit for 11, and I could hold heavy in that situation. However, I think it just doesn't really do much, and then I would have no Minecon. So I think Heavy Storm Zambira is just the play here. Alright, cool. And the cool thing about Zambira is that Snatch won't hurt me. I find Graceful, which is a very good card. I decide I'm going to just hold the Graceful, at least for this turn. I'm going to go for the Sook, hit for 1100, dropping him to 44, and main phase 2 just flip because again, snatched can't hurt me. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good position in this game as long as I don't get OTK'd. Which could still happen if he has BLS in his hand and he draws Thunder Dragon. He uses Upstart, and I really like gaining that 1000 in this situation. And now he goes for Faith to get Chaos going. So this is a very desperate play. I imagine his hand is very, very weird. And also, think about what this mind control is doing without even being used. He summoned a Spy in this game, and he summoned Magician of Faith. All because I have mind control in my hand. So he does this, and he knows I have mind control, so this Chaos Sorcerer is going to be banished. And I find Regeki Break. I think this is the point where I have to fire Charity, because there's going to be a lot of combinations where I get to just win the game with the BLS. Another option is just going for Minecon Sook, getting in 1100 damage, and just banishing the Sork, and then like set Regeki Break possibly. That's definitely an option. But I do think just firing Charity now is the better option. I find Upstart, Dustshoot, and Solemn. So Dustshoot, Solemn are very good in this game state. He doesn't have Thunder Dragon, so there's very likely to be a good monster in his hand to send back with it. So I'm not getting rid of Dustshoot, obviously not getting rid of Solemn. Having Solemn in these kind of game states is pretty crazy. So what are the worst cards? I definitely don't want to discard BLS because that's just a win condition. The game will end if I draw Thunder Dragon. I think the Tsukiyomi, throwing the Tsukiyomi to give me Dark Engrave is a good idea because I can find Thunder Dragon off this Upstart potentially. Not that I would necessarily summon BLS if I find Thunder Dragon, but it would set up potential game on following turn. And I don't need the Tsukiyomi for anything else, so I think Tsukiyomi is an obvious discard. Then the other discard is going to be between, well, I already said I'm not discarding Dustshoot or Solemn. Obviously not discarding Minecon, because my plan is to banish his Chaos Sorcerer with it. So what's left? There's Regeki Break. There's the Upstart. Yeah, it's between Regeki Break and Upstart. So I'm not actually going to have a card in hand to discard for Regeki Break. I'm not going to want to discard the BLS. Trap Dustshoot, Solemn are going to be set. Mind Control is going to be used. So I do prefer a random card off the top of my deck over this Regeki Break, especially since this also gets me closer to the all-important Thunder Dragon. So doing that, Tsukiyomi and Regeki Break. Then use Upstart, which finds Chaos Sorcerer, which is like probably one of the worst cards I can draw in this spot. So just Mind Control, banish, and then set the 2 traps. And then use Dustshoot. Let's see the hand. He has Card D, Sorcerer, Knight Assailant, Snatch. Discard is... It's just going to be Knight Assailant because he has Spy engraved. If he wants to card D, he's going to have to get rid of his own Sorcerer and Snatch, which I would be okay with. It would get rid of my 2 Chaos, but there's no way I'm Soloming that. And I'm still okay with that trade. And he does decide to use card D. And I've already decided I wasn't going to Solemn it. I find Pot Thunder Dragon, which is really good. If he didn't card D, I would have won the game automatically with Pot into Thunder Dragon. So he finds Thunder Dragon and then sets a monster. I draw a Dust Shoot. I'm going to use Thunder Dragon. Does he flip Dust Shoot? Actually, I think his set was already there when I had over 4 in hand, so there's no Dust Shoot to play around. Important to keep that in mind so you don't do anything dumb here, like, I don't know, set Dust Shoot to discard Thunder Dragon before using the pot for a Dust Shoot that can't be there. So pot gives me Upstart and Knock. I have the option now between going for Knock or Upstart first. There are still all the spies in deck for me. He has 1 spy gone. So I would be okay with finding Spy and then knocking Spy. Because his hand is just 2 Thunder Dragons. I could just summon that Spy and attack for 12, and that's completely fine. More importantly, this could be Faith or Deco, which I would like to draw my copies of those. So, using Upstart first. Which gives me Sangan. He does have live Chaos that could banish my Sangan. However, if you look, it's Chaos Sorcerer gone and Chaos Sorcerer gone. So it's it's BLS. It's BLS that would banish the Sangan, whether it would be in attack mode or defense mode. The other thing is, if he were to have Regeki Break Set or MST, he would be able to OTK through Sangan with BLS for 5,000, because he could get through my Solemn if he has a Solemn or something. He probably doesn't have his own Solemn set, because I imagine that would have been used on something, like either my Graceful or my Pot in this situation. So I'm cool, just I need to win the game, right? So I'm just gonna summon and attack. If he gets 1 in 24 BLS and has an answer for my Solemn, then shit happens. I could also set the Dust Shoot to further deter a BLS doing that. I decide I'm just gonna hold it though. It's definitely possible this is a mistake though. He goes for set back row. I draw Serpent. Play is pretty obvious here. It's going to be attack. Then set Sinister and Dust Shoot. I like doing this when he finds a second back row, just to make it a little bit harder for him. So he draws for turn and quickly flips Heavy Storm. Obviously not going to Solemn that, so I say okay. I pretend like I'm thinking just to put ideas in his mind. of stuff I could possibly chain. And he goes chain, Regeki Break, target, set monster. So on paper you're thinking, okay, Regeki Break, target my Sinister. I'm perfectly fine with that. However, I will just lose to BLS if I don't Solemn. Because that would be 5,000 damage. If I Solemn, I would be at 2,500, and he can't OTK through that, and I would at least be able to see one card in that situation. Now, I do have a ton of BLS answers gone already. My tribe is gone, Minecon, 2 Chaos, but I do, of course, still have several BLS outs in the deck. And if he doesn't have BLS, it's unlikely that this will be a bad play for me anyway, right? Because I'll just have an extra monster on field, and I could possibly summon Thunder Dragon, tributing that Serpent. And he does have 26, so it's technically a game shot. So he did not have Serpent. I'm sorry, I mean BLS. He just goes for Tomato, swinging to Sangan. This was kind of an interesting decision. I have all the options remaining. I have Night Assailant, I have Spy, I have Faith, I have Dekoichi. Yeah, those are going to be all the options. Basically all 4 flips. And the obvious one is Faith, because I have Trinity Engrave, and the game would just end instantly if that resolves. But he has a 22 card deck, and he has 0 knock and 0 mind control in the graveyard. So I have to consider possibly going for like, let me think. If I grab Spy, he still has his Spies, right? So Spy is not going to be the one I grab, because mind control on that would be able to kill me. Well, not kill me, but close to kill me. So I don't want to get Spy. I could get Night Assailant. That would destroy my Sinister. There actually ends up being no better play than just getting the Faith and hoping he doesn't draw the good stuff. He will just have to pass. He has Thunder Dragon in hand. And I draw Snatch, so the game ends instantly. It's funny that Solemning the Regeki Break ends up creating this game shot. This game was kind of long, so I'm actually gonna not review the second match for now, and just do this video and possibly make another video for the second one. So thanks for watching. Be back at some point.